So, functions. Doing a few exam paper questions on functions. Solve the following equation and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So, how would I go about solving this? Guide number, not guide number that was 2 decimal places? Minus b form, exactly. It has to be minus b form when it says 2 decimal places. So, off you go, minus b form. Even if you're reading calculator, no, of course. Black one, isn't it? That one or the other one? Right. Do we remember our minus b formula? What is it, Julianne? Minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, A is equal to 1, B equals what, Julian? And C is equal to? Minus 7. Great. How are we? So, our formula is minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So that's minus 4 plus or minus the square root of minus 4 to be squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is minus 7, all over 2 times 1. Is that right? And then from there, we put it straight into the calculator. Minus bracket minus 4 plus the square root of minus 4 to be squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 7 all over 2 times 1, which gives us 5.31. Is that right? And we go back up and we change it to minus and we get minus 1.32. So 5.31 and negative 1.32. So, Julianne, do you remember what these tell me. The roots. And what are the roots? Where it cuts the, good girl, where it cuts the x-axis. So where it cuts the x-axis. Right. If we come down here to part B then, this is the functions bit. The solutions of the equation, x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0 are x is equal to minus 1 and x is equal to 2. The table below shows 3 graphs, A, B, and C. Which of these is the right graph? Matches B. Why do you reckon it's B? Sorry? It cuts the x-axis minus 1 and 2. So does this one. How would I make up my mind whether it's A or whether it's B? Which line is it? That one there? What does that tell me? What does the last number tell me? Where it cuts the y-axis. Which one cuts the y-axis minus 2? A. Alright. The roots tell me where it cuts the, and the last number tells me where it cuts the y-axis. Exactly. So, it's graph A, and the reason is the roots are minus 1 and minus 2, cuts the x-axis, minus 1 plus 2 even, thank you, and cuts the y-axis at minus 2. Right, the next question we're going to look at on functions. So, a school can get its electricity from one of two companies, Buzz or Lecky. The graphs below shows the cost of electricity per month from each company. If the school uses X units of electricity, the cost from Buzz is BX, so BX is this one here, and the cost from Lecky is LX, which is this one here. Right. One of the companies charges a fixed fee each month plus a fee for every unit of electricity used. Off you go and try to answer that question from looking at the graph. There. All right. So, what do we reckon then? One of the companies charges a fixed fee each month plus a fee for every unit of electricity used. State which company charges no fixed fee. So which one charges no fixed fee? Grace. Lecky charges no fixed fee. Why does Lecky charge no fixed fee? I wouldn't say the reason is like that. Lecky is the answer. They don't charge any fixed fee. But I don't even know the reason why they don't. We know they don't charge any fixed fee. Exactly. The graph starts at 0. What does it mean when we say the graph starts at 0? So down here, the number of units used, 0, 200, 400, 600, 800, and 1,000, yeah? And the cost per month in is how much and it's in cent. So if they use 0 units, so they don't turn on their box at all, they get charged 0. But if you look at Buzz, Buzz starts there, doesn't it? So before they ever use a single unit of electricity, they start here. Anyone know what that's called with electricity? A standing charge. All right, that's a standing charge. It's a business term. If you ever ask what a standing charge is, it's what you use no matter how much. Like, just take your own house at home. If you go away for the month of July on holidays, turn off all the electricity, the ESB company still charge you €15 a month for renting the line. That's the way it works. Right, the next bit of the question. See if you can figure out what the domain and range of BX. What does BX stand for? Which one is BX? Buzz. See if you can figure out what the domain and the range is. See if you remember what domain and range. We cover them. Anyone remember the name he put on domain and the name he put on range? We covered it when we were doing functions. So domain is inputs, good stuff, and range is outputs. So what are my inputs for Buzz? Where does it go from? And we know which axis is my inputs. The one that goes across. Because this is how much their units they're inputting, and the cost in is over here. This is your cost over here. This is how much you're inputting. So my inputs go from 0 to 1,000, good stuff. And my range goes from, what's the lowest amount you can be charged for by Buzz? For Buzz, 50, isn't it? It starts at 50, exactly. And what's the most amount you can be charged for by Buzz? All the way over here, how high up does it go? 300 and, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 325, good stuff. And that's your range. 50 to 325 in your domain is 0 to 1,000. That's their inputs. So, everything we've learned so far, we're just putting it into real life context. That's what we're going to do today. Is that right? Everything we've done on functions and algebra so far. Right. Off you go and see if you can figure out what part C wants us to do. Use the graph to estimate the set of values for which X, for which Buzz, what does that symbol mean here in the middle? Less than. For which symbol this symbol is less than, Lecky. So you want try to figure out what that means. So this is the way the exam papers work. They take what you do in the book and they apply it to a question. So it's all about trying to figure out what the question is asking us. That's why we're going to practice them this week and next week. And we practiced them last week on patterns. And remember what I told you last week, whatever you do, not leave a blank. You leave a blank, you get 0. Right, let's have a little look at it. So, Emer, what do you think this means? Sorry? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. L of x is greater than bx, but what does the actual sentence mean in English? If you were to put an English meaning on that sentence? What do you reckon, Julianne? Grace, any idea? The Emma, do you want to whack off it? Good man. Brilliant. Buzz is less than Lecky. So, what do you think Buzz is less than Lecky means? Where Buzz is below Lecky. So which one is Buzz? Is Buzz the straight line or the curvy? So tell me, whereabouts is Buzz less than Lecky? Where does it start? Starts there, isn't it? And where does Buzz finish being less than Lecky? 800, isn't it? If you wrote down here, Buzz is less than Lecky, without putting in any values, you pick up marks. Because you're explaining what the sentence means. That's how handy it is to pick up marks on a junior paper. Don't leave it blank. So, and the answer here is where x is equal to 100 to, and that's your answer. From 100 to 800 for x. Good stuff. Two seconds. Right, we've this bit done above. So, explain your answer to part CI means about the cost of electricity from Buzz and Lecky, and try to find the slope. Off you go. Try to do the next two bits. Explain what our answer above meant. And our answer above here was x is equal to 100 to 800. That was the answer we had above there. See if you can explain what your answer there meant, and then you see if you can get the slope of the ends. Any general gist here? That was 5 marks. If you got 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. Any general gist on the. Looking at an awful lot of blank faces, guys. Right, let's have a little whack off it. Emer, did you write anything down for this one? Brilliant. More than 800, Buzz is more expensive. Less than 100, Buzz is more expensive. Perfect. So, between, you could have went with this, between 100 to 800 units, Lecky is more expensive. Or you could have also said Buzz is more expensive, greater than 800 units used, and less than 100 units used. Because as we can see here, it's greater up here, and it's greater up here. Now, does anyone remember how do we get the slope of a line? Sorry? Rise over run. So how am I going to get the slope of this line here for Buzz? I'm terrible hearing, guys. You actually have to speak up a small bit. Anyone know the first thing you got to do with a line when you're trying to get the slope? Pick 2 definite points, exactly. Now, with these graphs, the easiest one to do is you pick the very first point and the very. So I'm going to pick this point here, and I'm going to pick this point up, and I'm going to make my little triangle. Right. So, what's my run? 1,000 is my run. Good stuff. What's my rise? What's this point? That's 50. What's this up here? Oh, relax a second. This point here is 50. What's this point up here? 325. How much is it from 50 to 325? Calculator. You don't do that in your head. $270. Relax for a second. Right, so what's our rise? Our rise is 275. My run is. Break it down in your calculator. Put 275 over 1,000 into your calculator. What are we getting? .275. That's your slope. There's 5 more marks. That comes up most years. Very important. Now, the next bit of the question. We have to explain what this means. Anyone know what this means? Linear, no. Yeah, it does mean it's linear because we can get the slope. I don't know what 0.275 means. For every 1 unit used, it costs us 0.275 cent. That's what it means. Because for what we said is for 1,000 units used, it costs us 325. But we know it starts at 50. So the slope of it means for every 1 unit we go over, it costs us 0.27. It doesn't even cost us 1 cent. It costs us 0.275 of a cent. Is that it? Right. Let's look at another question. Right, let's draw the following. How are we going to draw the following? What do we need? What are the 2 ways we can do it? First way is the calculator as given. Input function. Right, off you go. I want you to draw these 3 functions. Between -2 and 2. So I'm going to draw these 3 functions. No, so over here, your inputs would be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then you put it through your function, which is x minus 1, and there's your output. Okay, whichever way you feel comfortable. Whichever way you feel comfortable. I've showed you 2 ways. I've showed you the calculator and you do the same. all three. 1, 2, 3, graph all three. This is 20 marks on the junior cert paper. So our inputs then are -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Good. That's perfect. You can okay, draw your line, guys. Draw a line through your line. Yep, third one as well, the three of them. Small problem with brackets is more ancient. So just draw the little graphs then, not your point now. Right guys, let's have a little look at them, will we? So, drawing our functions. The first one, we should have been getting the points -2, -3, -1, -2, 0, -1, 1, 0, and 2, 1, isn't it? Now, Dermot, if I was to plot the first point, how would I plot the first one? -2, -3. So this is your x and this is your y. So I'll go out to. Good man, brilliant. Emer, -1, -2, what would I do? -2, exactly. 0, -1 is, you stay in the 0, and there's your point at -1. 1, 0 is there, and 2, 1 is there. And you know you're right if you're able to draw a straight line through it, which is linear. How did I know this was linear anyway? No. How did I know it was linear? I know it's a straight line there now. How did I know it was linear before I started? Good girl, Emer. There's no squared. And how did I know it was positive? How did I know it was going up? No. Positive x. Good girl, Emer. Two things on the... I knew it was linear because there was no x squared. And I knew it was positive because it was 1x. And the number in front of x is positive. So, my next function then. 2 minus alpha x squared. Start -2 anyway. My points are -2, -2. -1, 1. 0, 2. 1, 1. 2, -2. We all happy with those? Out to -2, down to -2. Out to -1, up to 1. Out to 0, up to 2. Out to 1, up to 1. And out to 2, down to -2. And I can see it makes the shape of a N. And what? Whoop, you off. How did I know that was quadratic, Grace? Grace, wait your turn. X squared, good girl. And Dermot, how did I know it was going to be negative? How did I know it was going to be in shape? -x squared, good lad. Good stuff. So the last one then. And our points here should be -2 1/4, -1 1/2, 0 and 1, 1 and 2, and 2 and 4. Anyone know what type of graph this is? Emer? Good girl, exponential. How do I know it's an exponential graph? Just relax. You don't need to roar. You're good, but there's no need to roar. Why, Julianne, is it an exponential one? Not the 2? The x is up as a power. All right, that's what tells me it's exponential. The x is up here as a power. So if we look at it in, minus 2 is a quarter, which is about there. Minus 1 is a half, which is about there. 0 is 1, which is about there. 1 is 2, is about there. And 2 is 4, is about there. What can we see our graph is doing? It's doubling. So 3 would be 8, 4 would be 16, 5 would be 32. It's doubling each time. The number is doubling. That's an exponential growth, like in the sum. Right. Let's have a go at this. So, 2016, paper 1 question. Graph of the function y is equal to the f of x is shown on the coordinate diagram below. For minus 3, so in the domain between minus 3 and 3. The graph is made up of 2 line segments. So you can see this now, this is f of x. So all you have to do here is they want you to fill in the table for f of x. So you draw that table for me first off you go. Draw that table and see if you can fill in what should be in this box here. Don't worry about this for a minute, just what should be in the fx box. I'll see if I can make this a bit dark. There, easier to see the lines. So I want you to be fit. What I want you to do is fill in this table over here. And see if you can fill in what fx is then. Emer, do you remember what another name for fx is? Y. Another name for fx is y. This is good stuff now, guys. These are the harder questions on paper 1. The function questions are generally the hardest questions on paper 1. Get our head around these, we'll go on way. So have a little go on first. See if you can fill in what you think they are. So a little hint. My x coordinates. What did I say another name for my fx? What I told you about leaving blanks. Blanks do you no good. Have a go at it. The only worst thing you can do is be wrong. That's why I always recommend all my students go to Cairns, they all do their exam papers in pencil, so they can have a few goes at it. Even if they make a mistake, they can just rub it out and go again. Perfect, apart from the last one. Man. So, brilliant. Brilliant. As I said, the worst thing you can do is be wrong. So, Emer, what did you fill in here? Good girl. Why did you fill in minus 2 here? Exactly. Minus 3, if you can see, the y coordinate that matches it for our line is minus 2. Brilliant. And what did you fill in for minus 2 then? And then 2, 4, 2, minus 2. Right. Another 30 seconds. See if you can have a go at this without me explaining. See if you can figure out what it means. Right, Dermot, what you fill in here? Minus 4. On the ball, go lad. What made you think it was minus 4? And you went down 2, didn't you? That's exactly what it means. That's your y coordinate. And all he wanted you to do here was do your y coordinate and then drop down 2. Brilliant. So this is minus 4. This one here is? And then? Goes, lad. Come on. And? Brilliant. Well spotted. All right. What's going to happen in June is you're going to see something on the paper that no teacher has ever shown you before. It's just they do it the whole time. 2 or 3 questions which you just have to have a stab at it. And as I said, the worst thing you can do is leave a blank. Right. Hence or otherwise, they want me to draw this graph then. So, where am I going to put this point? Go out to minus 3 and go down to minus 4. So that one is drawn already. That's your f of x. We're going to draw on the f of x minus 2. So there's my first point. Out to minus 3, down to minus 4. Out to minus 2, down to minus 2. Out to minus 1, down to 0. So I stay there. Out to 0, up to. Out to 1, up to 0. Out to 2, down to. And out to 3, down to. Exactly. And then you draw your graph. Perfect. Good stuff. So, 2016 paper 1, question 14. Function h of x below gives the approximate height of water at Home Harbour on a particular day from 12 noon to 5 p.m. Where h of x is the height of water in centimeters and x is the time in hours after 12 noon. Draw the graph of the function 10x squared minus 50x plus 130 on this graph. Do you guys do it? What do you going to do? We're going to do? We're going to do our input and our function in our output. What are our inputs going to be? Here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to draw a graph, and then we're going to answer these questions. Off you go. That's your function. 10x squared minus 50x plus 130. Then always give you a people in the juice. Tell me that guys are fine. Figure out your points and then draw your graph. And great enough, see if they can answer the 3 questions. And the graph drawn, see if they have a whack up those 3 questions. Two more minutes, guys. That have a go at that. If you're waiting around for me, have a go off. If you're able to get this, you get the graph right, you will into the leaves. Right, guys, let's have a little look at it. So, first of all, anyway, let's get down our pints. Our pints are 0, 130, they are 190, they are 270, they are 370, 490, and they are 130. Right. 0, 130. So out to 0, up, and it's about there. 1 and 90, out to 1, up to 90. Out to 2, up to 70. Out to 3, up to 70. Out to 4, up to 90. And out to 5, up to 130. Are we all happy with that? Now, the most important thing here, don't lose 2 marks. Don't do this. Come down, 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 go right, straight across. Because it isn't an upside down N, I suppose. It's a U. So you must put a little dip in it. Is that okay? You must put a little dip. And if I was you, do it in pencil and kind of, do the shading mode. Whereas do it kind of like that with a pencil. Just it's easier. You should never draw a graph in a pen anyway. Don't ever draw a graph in a pen. So, next one. Find the height of the water at 12 noon. Grace. What do you reckon? Have a stab at it. So give me a height. 130 meters, because 12 noon to 5 p.m. and where do we start? We start at 12 noon. So what's the height at 12 noon? 130 meters. Grace. Estimate the height of the water at its lowest point. Sorry, Emer. Estimate the height of the water at its lowest point. You'd lose 2 or 3 marks there, because it's not going to be 70 because there's a U shape, isn't it? It dips slightly. So what's this down here going to be? 60. Not quite 60. I'd say if you said 65, you get full marks, but it's about 63. Dips slightly. But if you said 65, you get full marks. Is that okay? If you say 70, you won't, because there's a dip. Because it goes 2 points between 70, and we know it dips in between the two of them. At 12 noon, how long did it take before the water was at its lowest point? Dearman, what do you reckon? Brilliant. On the nose, 2.5 hours. It started at 0, and the lowest point is about there. 2.5 hours there. So one more little bit before we go, guys. Off you go. Done a few of these. 5 minutes left, so you can get these out. Done these before now. Look at our original one. It's in the bracket, it's in the function. And look what's in the brackets down here. As I say, we've done 2 or 3 of these. First bit should be grand. The second two bits are a bit tricky. But remember what I told you, look what's in the bracket in the first one and look what's in the equation. Look what's in the bracket on the second one. The bottom bit then is very tricky. And what's the worst thing we can leave? A blank, exactly. Stuff. Go on. Finish it. I'll put you out of your misery. You did very well in the first two bits. The first one, it's the function of 7. So it's equal to 3 times 7 plus 5, which is 26. There's 5 marks for you. Down here, it's the function of k in the bracket instead of x. So it's 3 times, there's another 5 marks. And down here, it's the function of k is equal to k. So it's 3k plus 5 equals k. K is to one side, numbers to the other. 3k minus k equals minus 5. 2k equals minus 5. Divide across by the number in front of k, which is? Number in front of k is 2. Good stuff. K equals minus 5 over 2. And that's your answer. Brilliant work today, guys. They're tough questions. And you get your head around those, you get your head around anything in maths. Well done. And I will see you next Thursday at 6. Brilliant. You can't go. Will you watch the video?